I never thought it would happen to me. Isn't that what everyone says? You marry the love of your life, build a future together, and the idea of betrayal seems almost absurd. But here I am, sitting in my car outside the quaint coffee shop where my wife, Emma, meets her lover. It's almost poetic, in a cruel way. Emma and I had been married for 10 years. We met in college, fell in love quickly, and started a life together in the suburbs. Our home was filled with laughter, memories, and dreams of a shared future. Or so I thought. The first hint of her double life came 6 months ago. I was cleaning out the attic when I stumbled upon an unfamiliar box. Inside were letters, love notes, written in Emma's handwriting but addressed to someone named Alex. My heart sank. Who was Alex? And why had she hidden these letters? Confronting her wasn't easy. Emma was always the strong one, the composed one. I felt like a nervous wreck as I laid the letters out on the kitchen table one evening. When she walked in and saw them, her face went pale. She didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she just sat down and started crying. Who is he? I asked, my voice trembling. His name is Alex, she said through sobs. We met at a business conference last year. It started off innocent, but then it became more. More? I echoed, feeling the sting of betrayal. How much more, Emma? We have an apartment downtown. We meet there when I'm on business trips. I felt my world crumble around me. How could you do this to us? To me? I don't know, she whispered. I didn't mean for it to happen. I never wanted to hurt you. But the damage was done. The anger came next, a rage so intense it scared me. How could she lie to me, to our friends, to our families? Every moment of our marriage felt like a lie. But then, as the days passed, the anger gave way to something else: curiosity. Why did she need this other life? What was she getting from Alex that she couldn't get from me? I decided to find out. I started following her. It felt wrong, like I was betraying her privacy, but I needed answers. I followed her to the coffee shop, to the apartment, to the parks where they met. I watched from a distance, trying to piece together the puzzle of her double life. It was during one of these stakeouts that I saw something that made my blood run cold. Emma and Alex were sitting on a bench in the park, laughing and holding hands. They looked happy. But then, Alex leaned in and whispered something in her ear, and I saw Emma's face change. She looked scared. Terrified, even. It was a look I had never seen on her before. That night, I confronted her again. This time, she didn't cry. She didn't look scared. She just looked tired. Why do you look so afraid around him? I asked. She sighed deeply. He's not just my lover. He's blackmailing me. Blackmailing you? With what? She shook her head. I can't tell you. It's too dangerous. My mind raced. What could he possibly have on her? Emma refused to tell me, saying it was too risky. But I couldn't let it go. I needed to know. I needed to protect her, even if she had betrayed me. I hired a private investigator. It felt like a last resort, but I was desperate. The investigator, a gruff man named Sam, dug into Alex's past. What he found shocked me. Alex wasn't just a random lover, he was a con artist, a criminal. He had been targeting women like Emma for years, seducing them, blackmailing them, and ruining their lives. When I told Emma what I had found, she broke down. She admitted that she had been too ashamed to tell me the truth, too scared of what Alex might do. But now, with the evidence Sam had gathered, we had a chance to stop him. We went to the police, armed with the information from Sam. It wasn't easy, but eventually, they arrested Alex. Emma's double life came crashing down, and we were left to pick up the pieces. Rebuilding our marriage was the hardest thing I've ever done. The trust was shattered, the love tainted by betrayal. But we took it one day at a time. Emma went to therapy, and so did I. We talked, really talked, for the first time in years. Slowly, we started to heal. One night, as we sat on the porch, Emma turned to me with tears in her eyes. "I don't know if I can ever make this right," she said. "We're trying," I replied. "That's all we can do." "Do you still love me?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. I looked at her, really looked at her. "Yes, Emma. I do. But it's going to take time." And it did. We had to rebuild from the ground up. But we had a foundation of 10 years, and that counted for something. We learned to be honest, brutally so, and to trust again. One day, months later, Emma received a letter from an unknown sender. Inside was a single photograph of her and Alex, taken without their knowledge. A chilling reminder that we weren't entirely free of his shadow. Emma's hands shook as she handed it to me. "What do we do?" she asked, fear evident in her voice. "We keep moving forward," I said firmly. "We've come too far to let him control us." Life moved on, slowly but surely. We found a new normal, one where honesty reigned supreme. It wasn't easy, and some days were harder than others. But we faced them together, united in our resolve. Then came the twist I never saw coming. One evening, I received a call from Sam, the private investigator. "There's something you need to know," he said. "Alex wasn't acting alone. There's someone else involved." My heart sank. "Who?" "It's someone close to you. Very close." The revelation hit me like a truck. Emma's sister, Laura, had been in on it the whole time. She had introduced Emma to Alex, knowing full well what he was. She had been part of the blackmail scheme from the start. Confronting Laura was another nightmare. She tried to deny it at first, but the evidence was damning. She had her reasons, she said: jealousy, resentment, a twisted need for revenge. She had always felt overshadowed by Emma, and this was her way of getting back at her. The fallout was catastrophic. Emma was devastated, not only by her sister's betrayal but by the realization that her own actions had brought this upon us. It took months of therapy, more tears than I could count, and an ironclad resolve to move past it. In the end, we emerged stronger. Scarred, but stronger. We cut ties with Laura and focused on rebuilding our lives. We learned that love isn't always enough, but with effort, honesty, and time, it's possible to find a way forward. As I sit here, writing this, I realize that I never really knew Emma. Not completely. But now, for the first time, we're getting to know each other. The real us. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. The phone call from Sam had been a shock, but the real blow came when Laura tried to reach out to Emma. She had the audacity to call, to beg for forgiveness. Emma refused to speak to her, but I needed to understand her motivations. What drove Laura to such a dark path? "Laura, why?" I asked when I met her in a park, a neutral ground where we could talk without raising suspicions. Laura looked worn out, guilt etched into her features. "I was always second best, John. Emma was the golden child. She got the attention, the love, everything. I was invisible. And this was your way of getting back at her?" I couldn't hide my disgust. I never meant for it to go this far. Alex, he manipulated me too. At first, it was about revenge, but then it spiraled out of control. "Do you realize what you've done? To Emma? To me?" My voice was rising with each word. "I'm sorry," Laura whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I never wanted to hurt you." "Sorry doesn't fix this, Laura. You've destroyed lives." I left her there, crying on the bench. Emma didn't need to know the details of our conversation. It was enough that she knew her sister had betrayed her. We needed to focus on healing, not reopening wounds. Emma and I threw ourselves into therapy, individually and as a couple. We faced our demons head-on, talking about things we had never discussed before. Childhood traumas, insecurities, fears, it all came out. We were laying the foundation for a new relationship, one built on honesty and openness. One day, Our therapist suggested a couple's retreat, a place where we could reconnect away from the chaos of our daily lives. We agreed, hoping that a change of scenery would help us heal. The retreat was in a secluded cabin in the mountains, surrounded by nature. It was peaceful, a stark contrast to the turmoil we had been living through. We spent our days hiking, talking, and just being with each other. On the third night, as we sat by the fireplace, Emma turned to me with a serious expression. "John, there's something I need to tell you." My heart raced. "What is it?" "Remember when I said Alex was blackmailing me?" "There's more to the story." I felt a knot in my stomach. "Go on." Emma took a deep breath. "Before Alex, there was someone else. His name was Mark. He was my boss at the time, and we had an affair. It ended badly, and he threatened to expose me. That's when Alex came into the picture. He knew about Mark and used it against me." I was stunned. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" "I was ashamed, John. I didn't want you to see me differently." I felt a surge of anger, but I pushed it down. This was a step forward, a sign that Emma was finally being completely honest with me. "Thank you for telling me." "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I never wanted to hurt you." "We'll get through this," I said, pulling her into a hug. Together. The retreat was a turning point. We returned home with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to face whatever challenges came our way. We were stronger now, more united than ever. But life has a way of testing you when you least expect it. One evening, as we were having dinner, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find a man standing there, holding a thick envelope. "John Williams?" he asked. "Yes, that's me." He handed me the envelope. "You've been served." I stared at the papers inside, my mind racing. It was a lawsuit from Mark, Emma's former boss. He was suing us for defamation, claiming that our accusations had damaged his reputation. "Emma," I called out, my voice shaking. "We have a problem." She took the papers from me, her face turning pale. "I can't believe this. He's trying to ruin us." "We won't let him," I said firmly. "We'll fight this." The next few months were a blur of legal battles and court appearances. Mark was relentless, trying to paint us as liars and manipulators. But we had the truth on our side, and with Sam's help, we gathered enough evidence to expose Mark's lies. The courtroom became a battleground, with our lawyer fighting tirelessly to clear our names. Emma and I sat through hours of testimony, reliving the nightmare over and over again. But we stood strong, side by side, refusing to let Mark's lies tear us apart. In the end, justice prevailed. The court ruled in our favor, dismissing Mark's lawsuit and exposing his true nature. It was a victory, but it came at a cost. The emotional toll had been immense, and we were exhausted. As we walked out of the courthouse, Emma turned to me. "Thank you, John, for standing by me." I took her hand. "We faced this together. And we'll face whatever comes next, together." We returned home, determined to put the past behind us. It wasn't easy, but we were committed to rebuilding our lives. We focused on the future, making new plans and setting new goals. We traveled, explored new hobbies, and spent time with friends and family. One evening, as we were sitting on the porch, Emma turned to me with a smile. "I have a surprise for you." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh? What is it?" She handed me a small, beautifully wrapped box. "Open it." Inside was a set of keys. "What's this for?" "I bought us a cabin in the mountains. A place where we can escape whenever we need to." I was touched. "Emma, this is amazing." "Thank you. We've been through so much, John. I wanted to give us something to look forward to, a place where we can create new memories." The cabin became our sanctuary, a place where we could leave our troubles behind and just be with each other. We spent weekends hiking, fishing, and enjoying the peace and quiet. It was our haven, a symbol of our renewed commitment to each other. Years passed, and we continued to grow stronger as a couple. We faced challenges and setbacks, but we always came through, hand in hand. Our love had been tested, but it had emerged unbreakable. One day, as we sat by the fireplace in our cabin, Emma turned to me with tears in her eyes. "John, I have something to tell you." My heart skipped a beat. "What is it?" She smiled through her tears. "I'm pregnant." I was overwhelmed with joy. "Emma, that's incredible. We're going to be parents." We hugged, our hearts full of hope and excitement. Our journey had been long and difficult, but it had led us to this moment. We were about to start a new chapter, one filled with love and new beginnings. As I sit here, writing this, I realize that our story isn't just about betrayal and redemption. It's about love, resilience, and the power of forgiveness. It's about facing the darkest moments and coming out stronger on the other side. Emma and I have built a life together, one filled with love, trust, and hope. We've learned that no matter what challenges we face, as long as we have each other, we can overcome anything. Our journey continues, and I know there will be more twists and turns along the way. But I also know that we will face them together, with love and determination. Our story is far from over, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.